You need a North Star so that when you do sit down and write, you're not staring at a blank screen. You can ask the question of how long is it going to take you? And then you can ask yourself the question of how long should I spend on an outline? And you see how those are two different questions. My name is Karen, and on this channel, I help you gain momentum with simple methods that you can really insert into your life easily. So if that's something that you enjoy, stay connected. We got to talk about some outline stuff. Okay, so how long is it really going to take you? Okay, pop it into AI, 30 seconds. I don't think that that's an outline that's going to take you through the long haul. In the video that I published last week, I talked about the methods that I use to create my outline and why a strong outline is the backbone of your project. And if you haven't watched that yet, I'll make sure that it is linked in the description below, but don't go there yet. I want you to really understand how much time it actually takes to do it because I recorded it. I'm a believer of if you don't move forward with something, you can't make it better. And one thing that I know is better is actually tracking my time so that I can set realistic goals rather than pushing myself towards a date that's hanging out there. So for this project that I'm doing right now, I actually did a spreadsheet and I shared that with you in one of my podcast episodes, Plan With Me, but I'll just scratch the surface here specifically on how long it took to do the outline. What we're looking at is my handy dandy let's write a book spreadsheet. And I made this to just kind of draft myself out a timeline for how long this project is going to take. Now, keep in mind, I always like to start by the preface that, writing a book is it's basically like 3 projects in one, projects that come start to finish. You have your first part, which takes you to the end of drafting the manuscript. Then you have the editing and revising and preparing for publishing. And that's the phase where you want to start thinking about the stuff like the book covers and how you're going to market, because the third project within the project is the marketing and pre-launching strategies. Now, it takes all 3 to have a successful self-published book and book launch that people are actually going to find your book. Let's Write a Book is basically putting the whole project in front of me. And this is the way I like to work with people so that we can build these things into your life. So you might have timelines that are longer, but essentially you're the person that's doing the work. Okay, so for my second book, I labeled it Finish What You Started. So in order to get a good, strong foundational outline, I had a manuscript that was sitting in about 75 to 80% done. And I had to basically refamiliarize myself to it. So what I did was I tracked my time for every single session that I did. And as far as creating the outline, I had created the outline before, but I hadn't tracked my time. And I would estimate that it took me probably about 2.5 to 3 hours to create that outline. Now, when I create an outline, I create quite a detailed outline so that when I sit down to write, I know exactly what I'm writing about. So within the outline, there are the main book outline as well as the chapter outline, so that when I sit down to write the chapter, I know what I'm going to write. And I don't even look at things like the introduction or the credits until the whole manuscript is done. So that's the system that I use to write. You might have something different. If you have a different system, please let me know. So what I had to do for this part is I decided that I was going to reconnect with my book by redoing the outline in a different format, in a format that I've never done before. So I used the Save the Cat method. And if you've never heard of it, just a quick Google search or an AI search. It'll give you the entire formula on how to do it. I didn't create it. A lot of writers use it. I didn't even know about it. But what it helps is that it helps you do is define the core message, target our audience, and the purpose of the book in a different format than you may have done with your brainstorming. So what I learned by that is that's a very valuable tool that I will take forward. I believe that the outline is the most biggest foundational thing of the book, that it does nothing but help you if you do it in more than one format. And as you can see, it didn't take me very long. So can you do that in a weekend or a day? Yeah. Will it take you less time than me? Maybe. But this is how much time it took me. So factors that are going to impact how long it takes, it depends how long your book is or your course is, how complex it is, other variables that it depends on. It depends what else you're doing in your life, which is why I love my method of touch it first 1 hour a day in the morning. Right now it's winter and it's dark and I don't go for my walk until it gets daylight. So it's perfect time to grab my coffee and come on in my office and write for an hour. It just fits into my life. So whatever your writing style is, this is also a great time to insert that habit streak so that you find a writing window that you can repeat day after day after day after day. That's going to help you with the consistency of the project. A lot of times we don't do these things because they are not income generating yet. There are things that we want to do, but possibly think, well, who's going to want to read it anyway? And we feel like it's a self-serving thing that is not creating income. And if you have that mindset, you'll never get it out to the world. And if you have that inkling in you, if you have that calling to have the world feel your light, to have something to share, to have something that is so big on your chest, or maybe so necessary for you to do in your business because you're consistently repeating what you do over and over again, books and online courses duplicate you. They allow you to get your message into the hands of more people. They allow you to cross time and space and dimensions and like if you have it in you, you have it in you. You have to get it out of you. It's almost an obligation, in my opinion. But it's just my opinion. Depending on how familiar you are with the subject, that can kind of stump you up. So if you feel as though it's not something that you're ready to talk about, if you're trying to write about something that perhaps is trauma, perhaps something that you haven't healed from, it might take you a longer time to write. And it might be something that you don't even want to publish, but something that you feel like you need to get out. This framework will also help for you. It will also help you decide how it wants to evolve. And it doesn't mean you have to write in order. See, once you have your framework and your outline, you can pick and choose what calls to you and do the difficult ones last if you like, or do the difficult ones first and do the easy ones last. It all depends on what school of thought you have. My dad used to say to me, we always save the best for last. Get the tough stuff done first. And you know what? The free flow writing is undoubtedly, it's my favorite part of the writing process. And it's such a small window of time, which is why the outline is so critical. Depending on what outline you decide to use, if you decide to use a couple of outline structures and make sure that you're not missing any fundamental pieces or the whole reader journey, There are some other ones out there that I haven't tried yet. Maybe you've tried. Let me know what methods you like to use for outlining in the comments below. Maybe I'll throw my outline through that process as well. The stronger your outline, the easier it is throughout the entire process. Because another thing that the outline will do is it's going to help you in the marketing piece along the way. It's going to help you design your book cover. The stronger it is, the better your outcome. So my answer to how long should it take you to write your outline is however long it takes, as long as it's something that you are continuously touching every day. What I found helps me have success in a project, especially a long-term project, is you touch it every day. And some days that might only be 10 minutes, and that's okay. Just as long as you continue to touch it every single day until you have it done. I believe that you'll have more creative power, because when we walk away from something and it's in our subconscious mind and it's doing its thing and it's working itself out, the next day when you come back to it, you'll be fresh, rather than pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion. And by the end of your session, nothing is coming out that makes sense. Does that make sense? Maybe it makes sense. It took me a whole hour and a half, which I did not put in my spreadsheet yet, just to decide if I was going to use Google or Word for this time during my book. Maybe I should make a video on that. Maybe, would you like to hear that one? So if you want to join me on this process, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, and I'll put a link in the description box below where we can stay connected via email. That way, if you miss a video, I'll make sure that it gets into your inbox. I also do a lot of videos about movement and walking and mindset in our creative life in motion. It's all connected. So the goal is to keep you happy, healthy, and all things in the picture when you are pursuing that great big project, because a lot of times we can burn ourselves out by wanting to get things done too quickly. And on this channel, we talk about how it all fuses together into one, because you are one human. So if that's something that interests you, make sure that you stick around. And now that you know how long it's going to take you to write an outline, and if you missed last week's video on going through the processes I go through, that video is also in the description box below. The next video I am set to record is how to take that outline and make it into a compelling first draft. And here's a little hint. It doesn't have to be neat and tidy. It have to look nice. You have to take messy action. And it doesn't have to be orderly. And it doesn't have to be, one way or the other way. What it does have to be is a way that works for you and integrates into your daily life. Because if you are writing, you are a writer. Okay, so you don't have to wait for a published book or for someone to call you a writer. You just need to step into it and claim it if it's something that is calling you. Trust the process, and I'll see you in the next video.